Okay guys, welcome back to another tutorial. We're talking the lectron fitment on the kdx200 series. Now most of you would know that it's a very problematic fit. The lectron is much taller than the PWK. So what happens is when you try to fit it, it will hit. Let me see if I can get my pointer. It will hit on this very back edge. And what that does is that causes you to have to tilt it on an angle, and what that does is the back edge now sits up in this groove, and it throws the float bowl level out, so you can't use the clear bowl level is kind of useless now because it's on an angle. And also, this is kind of secondary. If this carburetor is touching the top of the frame, it has the potential to send vibrations through the frame into the carburetor, and that won't be good for the internals. That's the reason all carburetors are strung between two rubber boots, because it isolates any kind of vibrations. So if you follow my channel, I like to do things a little bit differently. I like to look for alternative solutions. So when you buy Electron from the Electron guys, they cut the back edge of the carburetor, and it still seems like it's not quite right. It just doesn't do the job. So I came up with a different idea. So this is what I came up with. We're going to modify the frame. Now, modifying frames is generally frowned upon, especially as the KDX gets older and it becomes more collectible. So we don't want to do anything drastic. We want to keep it looking factory. So this is how I did it. Now, this engine mount is gets in the way the most. So this extends to the frame. We want to cut this very corner piece off, which is super simple. Get yourself a grinder. You want to turn your guard all the way around just to give it some clearance, and you can get your grinder and very carefully grind the edge of that engine mount. Do not touch the grinding wheel to the frame. The frame is very thin. You don't want to create any weak points, so we just want to touch up that edge. Once you've done that, you'll see a hole kind of appear. This one here, can you see that? There's a little hole there. That gets bigger and bigger the more you grind away. We want to take off those sharp edges inside there. Use a porting stone, use a needle file. We just want to, I didn't even have the camera on it. Anyway, so yeah, we want to keep it looking factory by removing all sharp edges. So once you've done that, here's what you need to do. So here I have two boards. There's a board on the bottom, and then there's a board here with another piece on it which creates an angle. What we're going to do with these boards is we are going to put a jack on these boards. Then we're going to have two pieces of steel with convex ends. We're going to use the large piece just to get the imprint started, because we want to try and match this imprint up the top. So we're going to use that to get it started, and then we're going to create a little more depth with this smaller piece of steel. So what you'll do is, now this is a mechanical jack, which I'm a big fan of. It gives you a lot more feel. So you are going to put that in position. You're going to wind it up, and you're going to create tension on it. Now, you can't create too much tension, and the reason being is this whole framework will flex, and you'll actually see it flexing. So just wind it up, give it enough tension that you can see that frame flex, and then just back it off a touch. Now, because we can't create enough tension, we're going to have to heat it with the oxy torch. This is a number 8 brazing tip. We want to keep the flame very, very narrow and precise, and we're just going to create a bit of a glow, and as it glows, you'll see the imprint start to happen as the pressure goes up. Now, obviously, oxy torches create heat, so you want to get yourself a wet rag, and you want to protect everything that needs to be protected. Just like that. I'll just leave the rag out for now. So once you've done your first imprint, you can now take your smaller piece, and we're going to do a second imprint, because it's the very back edge. Let me see if I can show it a little bit closer up. It's this very, very back edge which is the issue. That's the bit that hits the lectron. It's not so much this area here. Once they modify the top cap of the carb, that clears that, but it doesn't clear this back edge. So yeah, and that's it. So you're going to create an imprint, and we're going to keep it neat. We're going to keep it tidy. It's going to look factory. That's why we're using the jack. We don't want to hit it with a hammer and create weak spots and thin areas. Yeah, modifying frames can reduce resale value, and we don't want that. So if I'm able to zoom in, you can see now it looks a little bit untidy because of the scratches from constantly having the lectron in and out, a little bit of burn mark around here. But as you can see, if you put wet rags around it, there is hardly any burn marks to the frame. Let's put the lectron back in, and I can just show you exactly where the clearance is. Now, I tried lots of different things to get the lectron to fit nicely. I even made my own top cap. I tried running a much thinner gasket through here. It helped, but it didn't work completely. So if we put this back in, and you can just see that back edge there. You see that now has clearance. And that is what we wanted. That is the issue. So if I zoom around the other side, not sure you can see it easily clears the engine mount now. And that was always a big problem, that engine mount. And that's why they wanted to cut this back edge to clear that engine mount. But it cleared the engine mount when they cut it, but it didn't clear the frame, the top of the frame, where it hasn't been indented. So we've just created another indent. That's it, guys. That is how I made the lectron fit. Hope that was helpful.